What is up, everybody? This is Alex from IHE TV. Today I'm talking about the new Marvel that's supposed to be nuts. Captain America: Brave New World. More like plain old world. Got 'em. I will be spoiling this, so you've been warned. Even though there's like nothing to spoil about this movie, it spoils itself in the marketing. So this is a weird one. According to the trivia, it's the third MCU film to receive a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh god! After Eternals and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It's directly linked to Eternals. You have to have seen Eternals for this to even make sense to you. As well as, of course, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have seen Eternals, I've reviewed Eternals, but I never saw this, so I'm missing a bunch of context for this film. I mean, it's not like it's hard to follow, it's just like, who are you? Why are you Captain America now? I thought you were the Falcon. I got so sick of them diluting the brand and releasing 3 or 4 of these shows a year, and them all being mid as fuck. What is this? I might have actually watched like the worst ones. God, it's just so much. I did watch Secret Invasion, that was pretty funny bad. She-Hulk was bizarre, but not much like better or worse than any of these other shows they were shitting out at the time. Didn't like Hawkeye have a show? Yeah, there it is, Hawkeye. I didn't see that. I saw a bit of Loki. I did watch Moon Knight, but I remember nothing about any of these things that I've seen. I'm like a huge Daredevil fan, but I haven't even seen Born Again because I just don't trust them. Oh yeah, WandaVision. That had promise, but it just fell apart towards the end. I mention all that to say there was a line drawn at a certain point with the films themselves. I would say around Civil War, where it's like, yeah, you gotta do some level of homework to enjoy this. But the Disney Plus stuff, that really pushed it, I feel. I can deal with seeing a couple of these movies a year just to keep up. That's fine, that's part of the fun. Because even if they were lame and bad quality, it was at most like a couple hours, instead of like 8 episodes of a TV show. But this movie isn't bad in the same way in Eternals or Quantumania is. This is the kind of bad that someone who's never seen a Marvel movie and just hates the idea of them would imagine that they're like. It's going for this political espionage tone. It really wants to be a Winter Soldier or a Civil War, something with stakes that builds the narrative around mysteries and some kind of tension. And the only surprise this film has is, well, I mean, it's spoiled right here in the marketing. Red Hulk is in the movie, everybody. There's a Red Hulk. And it's Harrison Ford. So it feels like a written backwards situation where that's all it has, and they just kind of got to justify it getting to that point. Not even to mention the reshoots, which I'll do a section on towards the end. So I found a big Reddit post breaking down with a bunch of evidence. And this is a way more interesting story, the behind-the-scenes drama, than the actual film itself. This is a toothless, nothing film that has nothing to say, is too scared to say anything, doesn't give Anthony Mackie anything to do as a main character or anything to learn or change or test him as a character. Marvel's never really been known for its dialogue quality, but the dialogue here is often so bad that it's good. Like, it's horrendous. It's honestly a shame this isn't slightly more bad, because then it would have been at least funny, instead of just ugly and forgettable. It has a real key jangly side to it, where it's almost constant action, this non-stop pacing, with these really short scenes that just gloss over anything potentially interesting or important. It's desperately clinging on to this veneer of like, hey, we're that thing that you liked once upon a time, right? There's that humor you know and love. Every single attempt at a joke or character moment falls so flat. I assume this guy was established in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because he's like the new Falcon and Anthony Mackie is now Captain America, even though I guess he still flies around and doesn't have super serum. I'm fine with this character, they just really don't give him anything to do. The timing of when this film came out could have had some kind of cool statement to make or commentary. Like, even though it was like a Marvel movie designed for a broad audience, it had something to say about like surveillance, government overreach, and what freedom really means. And even though this film has like the president turning into the Red Hulk and throwing American flags at helicopters, it's so toothless, it just has nothing to say. I don't know if the show delves into it, but I guess the angle to take with the Anthony Mackie version of the character would be what it means to fill the shoes of someone who left such an impression and the pressures that would come with that. But it really doesn't explore that, outside of a couple of awful mentions during dialogue. The way they use dialogue in this film is so lazy. They can't communicate anything through the visuals that make film what it is. It's all just clunky exposition drops, the villain in particular. This guy, who I guess is called the Leader, he's a mustache-twirling exposition dumper parody of himself, and I want to say he was actually in that Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton. Yeah, there he is in the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie, which I guess was the last time he had his own movie. which is funny. Why do they hate him so much? And it's nothing to do with this actor. He's actually excellent, especially when he's with the Coens. Like, Oh Brother, We're Out There, Ballad of Buster Scruggs. He is Buster Scruggs from memory. Yeah, go watch these movies instead. But again, he gets nothing to do. No one gets anything to do. And I gotta go on a Giancarlo Esposito little rant right now. Gotta put my rant hat on, because Pedro Pascal gets so much heat for being in everything. But at least for the most part, he's really good in everything, and he has range. Not that Esposito doesn't have range, but he needs a new agent or something, because he is the same character in every single thing he's in, and he is in everything. He is so typecast, it's just sick of it. He was villain in Electric State, villain in Captain America Brave New World. I didn't even see Maxine. I guess it was probably a villain in that. Villain in The Boys. Oh yeah, it was in Megalopolis. Villain in The Mandalorian. Villain in Far Cry, and so on and so on. We're at a point with him where it's just like not exciting to see him, which is a shame. And like, get your bag, make your money. But dude. And apparently the Sidewinder character was added entirely in reshoots, which I guess can get us to this bizarre character they added, Shira Haas plays, who is this notably tiny Israeli woman, who I guess was supposed to be this character, who I never heard of and know nothing about, and their timing of adapting her couldn't have gone better for them. But what she adds to the movie, I don't know. I need someone to tell me, because it's nothing. They make her a Black Widow, probably through the reshoots, and scared of audiences rejecting it because of the politics. But even though like Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, they're not like giants and they're not ripped, I can still kind of buy their physical presence, where the way this film is blocked makes her look so ridiculously tiny in these scenes with Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford. It's just goofy. And they don't have like an action scene where they prove like, oh, she uses her stature to catch people off guard and she's actually really capable. No, they're too scared to go anywhere near her. There's a 10-foot pole pushing her away from any scene she's in, and you can tell the film is scared to even have her on screen at all. I mentioned earlier that Eternals has a big role to play in this movie, because if you can rack your brain to remember what happened in that movie, I guess a god came out of the center of the earth and is just in the Indian Ocean and is made out of adamantium. They're trying to build up this X-Men thing that's going to happen in whatever Avengers is being made, being scrambled together right now. So that's the basic plot of the film, is that different countries are fighting over the adamantium. I thought this Isaiah character was kind of interesting. All these other forgotten super soldiers should probably play more of a role. I just needed a stronger tone from this, because it either needs to be more playful with how goofy something like the Red Hulk is, or take itself more seriously, because otherwise it's just the classic Marvel, where it will like start veering into taking itself seriously but undercut itself with a goofy joke of, say, Bucky having a heartfelt moment with Captain America and then being like, oh, that was my script writer, because he's a politician now, wrote the script for me, isn't it funny? Blah, blah, blah. And as an action movie with so much action in it, none of it really drives the narrative at all. Very key jangly, zero heart or personality to anything that's happening. What was the budget on this? Nearly $200 million for this. And we are a long way away from that shot in the first Avengers where the Hulk's running through the hallway. Yeah, this on a visual effects level is incredible, even though that film is pretty ugly as far as like lighting, but I actually felt like the budget was going towards something. This was directed by Julius Onah, who also did the Cloverfield Paradox. It's the only other thing I've seen from him. Horrendous film. Feels like a director for hire situation. There's no voice in here, as is often the case with these projects. I didn't exactly have high expectations for this, but this was pretty awful. I'm feeling a 1.5 star, a little bit stinky. Now let's go through some of these changes, because this is way more interesting. All the changes made to Captain America Brave New World during the rewrites and reshoots. We all know by now that the film's original script and story were written by Malcolm Spellman and Dallin Mooson, writers of The Falcon, I didn't know that, and polished by the director and Peter Glanz, but went through a few rounds of rewrites after the writers' strike ended. First Moon Knight writer Matthew Autumn was hired to rework the script before its upcoming reshoots, but he wasn't credited in the final version of the film. Writer Rob Edwards, on the other hand, was not only credited as the writer, but also got a story by credit, meaning his changes had a pretty significant impact on the final plot of the movie. Let me see who did write it, actually. That's something I forgot to mention. Come on. It's trying to hide the writers from me. It's because they don't exist. Right, I'll try and letterbox then. So we've got 5 writers. That's always a good sign. Treasure Planet. Bruh. Okay, quite random lot here, but oh yeah, of course the letterbox doesn't show any television stuff, annoyingly. Anyway, then the film had 22 days of reshoots during June 2024 and an additional round of pickups for a few days during November. This is everything that changed from the original script cut with the film to the final one we got in theaters. The Serpent Society and the airport fight. So there's going to be a fight in an airport again? Is there's a set photo of the Serpent Society. Am I supposed to know who that is? I guess it's them. Original Serpent Society matching costumes when they were filming the opening fight sequence of the film, which originally took place in a Mexican airport instead of the Mexican monastery we saw in the final cut of the film. The weirdest thing is that Rosa Salazar was supposed to remain a member of the Serpent Society even after the rewrites, since she was also spotted on the set of the reshoots last June, this time with her comic-accurate pink hair. What the fuck are we talking about? Oh, Salita Battle Angel. She even got her own McDonald's toy last year when McDonald's had to run their Brave New World campaign early because of pre-existing contracts which were signed before the strikes delayed the film's release. So this film is absolutely obliterated by those strikes. The extremely reliable scooper Can We Get Some Toast, who was sued by Marvel Studios last year for leaking promotional posters of Captain America Brave New World, and was the first person to report both the inclusion of the Serpent Society in the original cut of the film, as well as its exclusion after the rewrites. That's funny. So there was no Diamondback or Ruth. Cool. So this is like a bunch of characters. The rewrites also removed the other 3 members of this team, as well as their unique powers, their most important characteristic that separates this team of goons from all the others in the Marvel Universe. The original fight against the Serpents in the airport also included Isaiah Bradley fighting alongside Cap and Falcon in his own Cap suit, gifted to him by Sam. The leader and his big head. The leader's look in the final cut of the film has been polarizing among fans, but that was also something that changed in the reshoots. Tim Blake Nelson had revealed 5 months ago that they basically shot the movie twice, because his scenes were indeed all shot again last summer, since Marvel Studios decided to change his classic big head from the comics, which was supposed to be his cinematic look as well in the first cut of the film, to the one we all saw in the theatrical cut. Sadly, merchandise for the film also had to be released last summer due to pre-existing contracts they signed before the strikes and the film's delay. So there's tons of merch with Stern's original look out there, including his Funko Pop. There's also pieces of concept promotional art which show the original look of the character. I mean, that looks funny. I wish that made it. There's a little bit more. Adamantium's original properties, Cap vs. Red Hulk fight, Ross's fate in the original post-credit scene. Oh yeah, I didn't mention the post-credit scene. What is that about? It's just this guy in the cell, and he's like, be hyped for the next Marvel. The new Marvel's gonna be nuts. I hope you're ready. And they don't show anything. Like the rest of the movie, they just word vomit and hope you get hyped. Adamantium was supposed to be able to absorb gamma radiation in the original cut of the film. That would have been Cap's secret weapon to defeat Red Hulk, as he would use adamantium to drain Ross of his power, which would eventually lead to his apparent death. That would have led to the funeral scene they shot during the original production, a set photo from which you can see below featuring Sam and Layla. The day they shot this scene was the day Liv Tyler first came on set as well, with the paparazzo leaking her cameo in the film. Oh no. So apparently the original post-credit scene of the film would have featured Betty as well, but didn't give any more context other than that. Leaks from a person who had reportedly watched an early cut of the film before the reshoots during a test screening revealed that the post-credit scene featured Betty seeing fiery footsteps in her backyard, followed by Red Hulk's glowing red eyes before he vanished, revealing that he actually survived and is still out there in his Hulk form. Theories back then, on the spoilers subreddit, were that this was Marvel's way to keep using Red Hulk in the future without having to show Ross/Harrison Ford. He's expensive, man. He's old. Whatever. I'm just going to leave it there. That's most of the interesting stuff. There's more to read if you want. But wow, what a terrible, forgettable movie. Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this more than me or disliked it more than me, this is also a funny poster. See you on the next vid. Bye.